An alien father's debt paid with his daughter given to a human. On a distant, glowing planet in the Zarkan system, a wealthy alien named Vorin paced nervously in his tall, crystal-lit chamber. His tentacles clenched around a small, glowing orb, each pulse of light matching the pounding of his heart. He was a powerful merchant, feared across galaxies, but today, even he felt helpless. Vorin had made a grave mistake. Years ago, in a moment of desperation, he borrowed a massive sum of credits from a ruthless alien syndicate. The debt was meant to save his dying planet, his people, and his family. But he had failed to pay it back on time. And the consequences were unforgiving. The syndicate's envoy had arrived. They didn't come to negotiate. They came to collect. "You have one choice, Vorin," hissed the envoy, a sleek, shadowy figure with eyes like molten metal. "Repay your debt, or the syndicate takes something priceless from you." Vorin's chest tightened. He knew what that meant. The syndicate didn't just take objects or money, they took lives. They wanted his daughter, Lyra. She was only 15, bright, and curious about everything. But in the eyes of the syndicate, she was worth more than a fleet of starships. "No, there must be another way," Vorin pleaded, his voice cracking. The envoy's eyes glinted. "There is one. You can pay your debt yourself, or hand your daughter over to a human." Vorin froze. Humans? That was unexpected. Across the galaxies, humans were rare, primitive, and untested in interstellar society. They were unpredictable, often violent, but also adaptable. The envoy seemed almost amused by Vorin's hesitation. "You understand the terms," it said coldly. "Once she is given, she belongs to the human. Your debt is cleared." The weight of the choice crushed Vorin. If he refused, he would lose everything. But could he really hand over his daughter to a stranger, someone he didn't even know? Yet, the alternative was worse. Hours passed as Vorin agonized. Finally, with tears shimmering in his multiple eyes, he made his decision. He couldn't risk losing his daughter entirely. But he could hope that this human might protect her. Arrival on Earth. Lyra opened her eyes to a sky she had never seen before. It was a deep blue, with clouds drifting lazily across the horizon. She was lying on soft grass, the sunlight warm on her skin. Her heart raced as she sat up. A tall, strong human approached, holding out a hand. His face was kind, but there was a seriousness in his eyes that made her uneasy. "Are you going to hurt me?" she asked, her voice trembling. The man shook his head. "No. My name is Marcus. I was told you might need help. You're safe here." Lyra didn't know what to think. Everything around her, the trees, the air, even the sound of birds, was strange. And yet, there was something comforting about Marcus. As days passed, Lyra learned about Earth. Marcus taught her to speak the human language better, to eat their food, to adapt to their customs. But every night, Lyra stared at the stars, wondering about her father, about her home planet, and about why she had been given to a human. Marcus never pried too much. He only said, "You're not alone. I'll keep you safe." But safety was fragile. News of interstellar bounty hunters and syndicates occasionally reached Earth. Marcus knew that Vorin's debt might follow Lyra here. Secrets revealed. One evening, as they sat by a small fire in Marcus's backyard, Lyra finally asked the question that had haunted her. "Why did my father give me to you?" she whispered. Marcus sighed. "He didn't want to. But your life was at stake. You were the only way to save him and your people." Lyra's mind raced. Her father had sacrificed everything for her, even placing her life in the hands of a stranger. She felt a mix of fear, anger, and gratitude. "I have to find him," she said firmly. "I need to know he's okay." Marcus shook his head gently. "Not yet. First, you need to be ready. There are things out there, creatures far more dangerous than you can imagine. And if you go now, you might never see him again." Lyra nodded, determination shining in her eyes. For the first time, she felt like more than just a pawn in her father's debt. She was a fighter. The attack. Weeks later, Earth's peaceful nights were shattered. A ship landed at a clearing near Marcus's home. Shadows moved across the ground. Lyra's heart pounded. "They found me," she whispered. Marcus grabbed her hand. "Stay close. Whatever happens, we fight together." The attackers were unlike anything Lyra had seen. Their skin shimmered like liquid metal, and their weapons emitted crackling energy. Marcus held his ground, and to Lyra's surprise, he moved with skill and precision, taking down the attackers one by one. Lyra realized then that humans, though primitive, had a resilience that surprised even the most advanced alien species. And perhaps, her father's choice was not as reckless as she had thought. Discovering strength. The battle left them exhausted, but alive. Lyra helped Marcus treat his wounds, her hands steady despite the adrenaline. She realized she was learning more about herself than she ever had on Zarkon. She was strong, resourceful, and capable of protecting herself and perhaps others. Marcus looked at her and smiled faintly. "You're going to be okay. You're stronger than you think." Lyra nodded. She had to be. Her father had placed his faith in her. And now, she would honor that trust by becoming someone worthy of it. A new beginning. Months passed, and Lyra adapted to life on Earth, but her mind never strayed far from her father. Then, one quiet night, a message arrived, encoded in a language only she could understand. "I am alive. I am proud. You are my hope." Tears streamed down her face. She had survived. She had learned. And she had discovered that even in the most impossible situations, courage and love could bridge the gap between worlds. Lyra looked at Marcus, then up at the stars, and whispered, "I'll find you, Father. No matter the distance." The adventure was far from over, but for the first time, Lyra felt she could face anything. Her life was no longer a debt, it was her own story.